Lionel Cat. Shout out to Inside the Hotspot, and most importantly, Mars fam, shout out to y'all for tapping in. This video is King Von and Lil Durk, the fall of the evil twins. Now, a lot of people look at Durk suspiciously for getting out of that case when the witness said that they seen him hang out of the car, you know, with a gun, and, you know, did what he did, and then it switched to, oh, it was Vaughn. And I feel like a lot of stuff, I'm not saying Vaughn is innocent because he didn't talk about a lot of the bodies he didn't caught, but I feel like a lot of stuff is being put on him for the simple fact that he's deceased and he's not able to speak up or you know, clear up certain things. So it's like a lot of things is being put on him that probably wouldn't have been put on him if he was alive. I know that O Block joint would have been put on him though, for sure. But we ain't gonna talk too much. Without further ado, we gonna get straight into the video.
King Von, K-I-N-G. What made you want to sign King Von?
Cause he got a whole story behind him. You know what I'm saying? He just a real just with him. You know what I'm saying? It's my brother, twin.
Friday, detectives from Atlanta and Chicago testified in the criminal case against rapper Lil Durk in Fulton County Court. They say around 5 in the morning on February 5th, Lil Durk, whose real name is Durk Derek Banks, and his co-defendant Devontae Bennett were seen on camera involved in shooting Alexander Witherspoon.
Man, I fell down to my knees when the law came.
He said his chain was snatched off his neck, and he had $30,000 stolen from him, and they stole the vehicle he was driving.
Police say Banks was seen on tape shooting a gun.
You see Mr. Banks' arm out the window firing several shots.
Yo, we out here. We out here. Yo, what's up? I'm getting fired in the motherfucking possible.
Shout out, I want to shout out everybody that was on my that I want coming out or suck my.
Hey yo squad, what's the drill? Back with another video, man. Two of Chicago's most popular artists used to consider themselves twins, and they had a real big reputation in the streets. King Von and Lil Durk, unlike other rappers, lived their raps, and with that came some trouble that got them a case that almost put their freedom on hold. 3 years later, the unthinkable happened. Durk walked free. But how did detectives have them on camera and fumble the case? Or did Von take the fall so the voice could return to the streets? There's 3 possible theories, and even more if you thought hard enough. So I'ma expose 3 of them and get y'all to do the rest. Without further ado, let's skip the play and get down to...
I mean, Von is a loyal guy, but why would he, at the same time of where he was blowing up to be, why would he take the fall? I don't know. Let me know what y'all think on this whole situation. Do y'all think he took the fall, or do y'all think like Durk pushed his lawyers to say that King Von was the one who really did it? Let me know what y'all think about that in the comment section down below.
Business. If you're anybody that's anybody, most likely you hip to Durk and King Von. Both of them have a history of being active in the streets and are well known throughout Chicago. Both black disciples, and both of them were at the front of the feud that's in Chicago. But the streets is a dark place, and the name of the game is making it out. That proved easier said than done for the two. The ops was on their head, but being shooters themselves allegedly, with other alleged shooters in their camp, they could go tit for tat, but the problem was the law. They couldn't shoot it out with the boys in blue. All you could do is try to move in silence and make sure you got the bank for that lawyer fee if they catch you lacking. For sure, as time went on, King Von and Durk couldn't avoid catching cases forever. And when I tell you these dudes was outside, they was outside. Von and Durk had racked up so many charges, their mugshots dang near show their growth from youngins to adults.
Yeah.
Von was going deeper into the darkness, but Durk found a way out to help him from the path they were on. That became music. Coming up with Chief Keef and them, he was a part of the era that is argued to start.
I mean, with all them kids Durk got, he ain't got no choice. Like, he
drill culture in hip hop.
Right, you know what I mean? What would you call that move?
So we call it drill music.
Okay. Drill music. Okay, cool,
drill
cool,
music.
cool,
like
cool.
how you all hyped up and just ready to go crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad we created that type of style, though. I ain't trying to copy off nobody or be like nobody in the past.
It took some grinding, but Durk went from a savage in the streets to the voice of the streets, building up a hefty catalog of bangers. When one makes it out, both make it out. Durk remained true to that code and made sure to use his buzz to help put Von on. From interviews to shows, Durk always tried to put Von in the spotlight.
It's King Von.
King Bob.
Yeah.
King Bob.
All right, man. Yo, Durk, introduce this guy right here. I don't know who he is.
King Von, I'm saying one of the hottest in Chicago.
Yeah, because you know it's like I started shit off with him. Like he started up for me and everything. Like how people get to noticing me shit. He bringing me to his interviews and pulling up a chair right here and letting me sit right there.
Just like that, they both was trying to take over the music industry with bangers like Crazy Story Remix and taking over stages performing their music together. They was really like twins for real. Von took.
What's crazy is I don't know if that whole Chief Keef situation is still a thing with him and Durk. Like, because I done seen recently Durk get on stage and be like, yo, yeah, you know our situation that's going on, but I still got love for you, whatever. How they be performing Chief Keef's song if they don't rock with Keef? Or is that something that was squashed? Because I don't know. Like, a lot of people say that the people behind Durk, like Durk homies, won't let Durk squash it, or Durk don't want to squash it because Chief Keef did bail him out of jail and a couple of other guys or something like that. Let me know what y'all think about that too.
Took the torch and took off running, building a buzz in the rap game with his tactical storytelling and raw bars seen in the projects like Grandson Volume 1. From the look of things, him and Durk was about to run the rap game, but that sprung the cops' trap card. In 2019, the cops slid, jeopardizing their career and worse yet, their freedom. The twins was out vibing on February 5th of that year, while at the Varsity restaurant in Atlanta, they got into it with an op, and let's just say it didn't go well for that person. Durk and Von allegedly left the scene unscathed while homie was in a pool of blood. News reports would begin to provide information in the public on what allegedly happened. It was stated by a female eyewitness that she was outside a cigar bar at around 5 a.m. talking to Banks, aka Durk, and Von when they saw a fight in the car in front of them. She then saw Durk up the pole and shots were heard going off.
I spoke to a witness who was there at the scene.
And people probably wonder how that whole Atlanta situation happened. It's for the simple fact that Atlanta is not just people from Atlanta no more. A lot of people done escaped from Atlanta, whether they on a run or whether they just moved down there for a different living. So that's how everybody is bumping into each other in Atlanta or just in certain different places.
When the incident took place,
Churchill said the witness told him she was standing outside talking to Banks and Bennett in front of a cigar bar around 5 in the morning, February 5th, when they saw a fight in the car in front of them.
Mr. Banks pulled out a weapon.
The scene turned into a mass panic, and everybody was dipping and fleeing for their life while the evil twins allegedly was airing it out.
Witnesses tell me bullets flew through the air and whipped past their heads here on Spring Street Tuesday morning.
The bullets got to coming through, and I crawled through the club.
People who were inside the one cigar bar and lounge got down and just waited for the gunfire to finally stop.
Witnesses had the scene sounding like Von and Durk were shaking down the whole block with the choppers. At the end of the gunfire, reports state that the witnesses went around the building to see a man lying in a pool of blood. The person was found to be Alexander Witherspoon. The race to save his life was on as he was rushed to the nearest hospital with a gunshot wound to the leg in a serious condition.
And rushed to the nearest hospital in serious condition.
In a twist of miraculous events, Bro survived after being listed as critical, but not only that, he got to telling detectives what was the rundown and who were the savages that plotted on his life. According to him, he was big balling outside the restaurant in the parking lot with his iced out chain and 30 bands that had his pants pocket fighting for dear life. And that was the motive for Durk and Von trying to do him in. Bro claimed that they snatched his chain, gave his pocket some much needed relief, and dipped off in the whip too. At this point, Von and Durk are making bank off music, especially Durk. So why would they stoop so low?
Yeah.
But that's what Witherspoon said. So hey, What's funny though is that bro seems to not be an innocent civilian himself. Word got out that he's an alleged vice lord that is known for scamming and wouldn't bust a grape in a food fight. Nonetheless, Durk and Vaughn was about to be in big trouble because the cops were heavy on the scene pulling surveillance footage from businesses in that area that had a view of the situation.
A detective on the stand today said the rapper, who is used to being in front of the cameras, was actually caught on cameras at the Varsity, the BP here, and other businesses that put him at the scene of the crime.
Once they assessed the footage, even more details were made public. According to detectives, surveillance footage shows Durk and them driving off in a dark-colored SUV with his hand out the window, still trying to murk Alexander, even after he was already hit and running for his life.
And Detective Churchill says several security cameras in the area show Banks and Bennett firing at Witherspoon even after Witherspoon was shot and running away.
At the scene of the shooting, officers found multiple shell casings, and it was said that there was about 18 bullets found. In May, just about 3 months after the incident, cops couldn't wait to snatch Bro and them up and made them move to arrest Vaughn first. Then Durk was the next target of the attention, and a warrant was put out for his arrest. At the time, Durk was on tour, but after he heard about the warrant, he dipped from touring and began preparations to turn himself in by doing an interview with a news station.
He stepped out in front of the Fulton County Jail. One of his lawyers says he was swiftly taken into custody there, having swiftly flown back to Atlanta after he found out he was wanted.
We found out we had a warrant. We was actually on tour. Once I heard, I immediately came back.
He's willing to turn himself in and take care of what he needs to take care of.
We immediately canceled the tour.
Durk also dropped off the track Turn Myself In, saying he's innocent before facing the long road ahead of him. Him and Vaughn would get the full details on what they were fighting on their first court appearance. The judge found probable cause for an attempted hit, participation in criminal street gang activity, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and possession of a firearm by a felon. The prosecution finally had their chance to get the evil twins off the streets and was throwing everything they could at Durk and Vaughn. Right down to flying in a Chicago gang unit detective to testify that Durk and them are members of the notorious Black Disciples gang. Vaughn was in there watching Bro like, Your Honor, folks up here capping. If that was the first time hearing about Vaughn and Durk, you'd swear that they was America's most wanted.
Try to connect the shooting to gang activity, a claim Aurora says has not been proven.
He just told you that both of the experts in this case said no gang connection.
At the end of the court session, it seemed to have worked because the judge gave them the green light to take the case to trial. Things was looking dire for the evil twins, and they were held without bond, but their legal team was working overtime. Prosecutors actually wanted to keep him locked up, but the judge came through clutch and rejected the motion, instead granting Durk $250K bond.
Now, I know you're from Chicago. I know you probably know gang members, even if you're not in a gang. This is your freedom at stake. This is your decision to make. And as a side note, the judge that just gave you bond is actually a Packer fan. So.
Durk turning himself in and not running was more of a move that worked in his favor, showing that he's not a flight risk. The conditions to stay out on bond was that Durk can't be around a weapon, has to wear an ankle monitor while on 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. curfew, and there cannot be any witness intimidation.
So he got that $250,000 bond conditions. Lil Durk cannot be anywhere near a weapon, not in his car, not in his house. He's also on a curfew that requires him to be at home from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. And of course, the judge said there can be no witness intimidation.
Durk came out that mug happy as hell, but he had the case ahead of him still.
Be out of here. Be out of here. Yo, what's up? I'm getting fired in the motherfucking apartment.
New chain alert.
The legal team also came through for Vaughn because he too touched back on the streets with a message for everybody saying that he would stay locked up.
I want to shout out everybody that was on my that I want coming out on my.
Prosecutors did achieve one thing though. They got to separate the evil twins because they couldn't be around each other, so the shows together, the interviews, everything was no more.
Yeah, so me and Durk, we only see each other like at court, if we got court or some shit.
So even when you're on tour, you can't really be around each other too much?
Nah, we can't. Nah, hell nah.
The case went under the radar, and even though they couldn't directly work together, they still supported each other heavy. Durk continued going up, And Von took off with his career as well, right up to the release of the street classic Welcome to O Block on October 2020. Sadly, on November 6, 2020, Von's time in the spotlight would be cut short when his life was lost after an altercation with rapper Quando Rondo in Atlanta. Von was on go time beating the brakes off of bro. And Quando's homie Lil Tim creeped around.
In this situation, let me know what y'all think. Do y'all think Lil Tim was wrong, or do y'all think people just picking sides and on some favoritism stuff with this whole situation with Lil Tim and King Von?
On the side of the vehicle and let the hammer blow, hitting Von, who succumbed to his injuries while in surgery. The evil twins took a huge loss, and Durk felt every bit of the pain from losing his bro. Now the case was up in the air. RICOs were being thrown left and right on rappers, and it was feared that the case is silent because the feds are dragging it into a RICO case. But Durk pulled through with the Uno reverse and caught the W. On October 2022, news broke that all of the charges were dropped due to prosecutorial discretion, which was a huge surprise to the entire industry. That basically means that they decided that their legal resources were better needed in other cases other than Durk's. The RICO queen herself, Georgia's Superior Court of Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie T. Willis, commented on dropping the charges.
But on Saturday, October 22nd, the charges against Durk and the late Von were dropped due to prosecutorial discretion, according to WSB-TV.
While it was a joyous moment for hip-hop and for Durk's fam, many were skeptical how Durk beat the case.
Right.
Around the same time, T.I. would publicly announce that he put the gun charge on his deceased cousin to get off. That sparked allegations that Durk did the same and pinned the shooting on Von after he passed so he could get off. But there's other theories at play. The detective who said surveillance showed Durk busting shots wasn't actually being truthful in that description. What they actually saw was somebody's hand out the window shooting, never seeing Durk himself, so they couldn't say for sure that it was Durk.
Banks' attorneys tried to create doubt that the rapper did any shooting.
You don't see Mr. Banks shooting on the street at any.
Okay, so I'll back off the whole thing that he put it on Von, but still could have been a possibility.
Anytime. The only time you believe he was shooting is when he was in the camouflage Jeep, correct?
That's the only time I could see him shooting.
Not to mention one critical piece of information many don't know about. Alexander, who told the cops it was Durk and them, was arrested in 2021 on charges of mail fraud, aggravated identity theft, and making false statements. He was a habitual scammer, man. Bro used a counterfeit driver's license to finesse a $56,000 Dodge Charger Hellcat. With him being a criminal himself in that capacity, how can his word be trusted as a key witness?
Right.
He went from that situation to being an inmate. One final theory is the most grim and could mean the end for Lil Durk, God forbid. Many doubt the RICO queen is giving up that easily, and that this is just a plot to pass on the case to the feds for them to build a RICO around Durk. He's beaten about 3 gun charges to date, and now his attempted hit charge among others. Maybe he hasn't really beaten him, but was made to believe so.
I fear that 2023 or 2022 is the year that Lil Durk may be involved in some legal shit. I believe that the feds, this is just my own opinion, I believe the feds have set the seeds to try to connect a lot of crime in the same way how we all protested and say, yo, why y'all using Young Thug's lyrics? They're gonna do the same thing to Lil Durk.
Sad to say.
Or did they drop this case to tie Durk into something bigger?
Durk might believe his time as a free man won't last as well, and his past will catch up to him. On his song Red Man off the 2020 album The Voice, he raps the bars, "They ask me where I'ma be in 10 years. I say shit, the feds. Time alone would tell, but I hope he gets to enjoy what's left of his life as a
That's gonna wrap up that video. But it was crazy about Durk saying that as Young Thug, I think, said the same thing in an interview, and then it happened. And also Wallow and Gilly tried to tell him in an interview that his homies is not gonna stand up when it comes to that time like he would do. And he didn't listen, he didn't really understand, and now he gotta see what they was talking about. With that being said, get in the comment section down below. Let me know what y'all think about this whole situation. And I appreciate y'all for the love and support. Love is love, and I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video.